Hello, and welcome to the Cuppa Cupboard Live. My name is Matt Gonsalves. Thank you so much for dropping by and coming past to watch what will be some musical theatre talk and performances. So just some housekeeping. We have the live chat box there. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, if you put your questions or your comments in there, we will get them in the studio and I will pass them on to our guest. So do communicate with us because we love hearing from you guys. I also want to introduce you to this little fella here, which is our Donate Here QR code. It takes you to our GoFundMe. Basically, as you're probably aware, theatres are closed at the moment, and so performers haven't really been left with a way of earning what they normally earn in terms of income. So this is just a way that if you feel so inclined, you can just give a little bit back and it gets spread across everybody who helps with this stream, from the guys who make the backing tracks and do the mixing all the way to the guests and the phone-in guests as well that we have coming in. So without further ado, I'm just going to get straight to our guest because that's the reason why you're all watching. So I would like to introduce you all to Miss Bronte Barbe. There she is. She's in the studio.
With a cup of tea.
Yes. How are you, Bronte?
I am good. Thrilled to be here and at the house.
Yes. Have you been feeling like a hermit?
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
I've got a dog. It's nice to have a dog in these times.
Oh, yep, little Charlie.
Little Charlie sausage.
How's he doing?
Yeah, he's good. He's really good.
Give his
He's all right.
gums.
I think when we leave the house after this, he won't know what's hit him because
Yeah.
we've been with him 24/7. So
He's getting used to just being like an introvert as well, in terms of having mum and dad all to himself all the time.
Anytime I put my coat on now, he goes mental. I mean, and he's a sausage, so he doesn't really like walking that much. So every time the coat goes on, now he's like, "Don't leave me, don't leave me."
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Yeah.
So what were you doing when lockdown hit then? Because obviously, were you in a show at the time or were you performing?
I was workshopping at the time, a musical that was supposed to go out later in the year. And then I was going on to do a musical with Grange Park Opera in the summer called Meet Me in St. Louis, which would have been lovely. I was workshopping and there was a big group of us doing the workshop, and it was the second workshop of this certain musical. And sort of the Monday we went in, and we all knew that things were starting to close down, but the theatres were still open.
Yeah.
And a few people were getting emails saying the next play you're doing is cancelled that day, and we were all very sort of on edge, and it was a really weird atmosphere. We were like, "How's your next job?" And it was, a bit funny. And then everyone went off to their shows. Somebody was in like Prince of Egypt, somebody was in Mamma Mia, and then obviously we saw on Twitter and stuff that night that they'd gone to warm up and been told, that's it, we've got to close the theatres. And then we went in the next day to start another day of workshop, and it was sort of the general consensus that, it wasn't safe for us to be there. But we do one last sing. So we sort of had a sing of what we've been working on from the sort of the first workshop. And it was really emotional because obviously we were just sort of looking around. It was a really happy song, but it was still really emotional, the last song that we were doing in the
Were you all like crying going, yeah?
Yeah, no, it was weird because it was this sense of, we don't know how long it's going to be.
Yeah.
But at that point as well, there was that worry, but we also thought it was going to be, 3 months or something.
Yeah.
But with the sort of cancellations, we were a bit worried. But yeah,
It was the unknown of it all, wasn't it? Because it was just like, all the theatres obviously finished their shows on the Saturday. Then we had Sunday, and the lockdown kind of happened from the Monday.
Yeah.
But everyone was sitting on Sunday going, I don't know if I have a job tomorrow or not. And we're all sitting by the phone kind of waiting.
Yeah.
I find it interesting because obviously we did our last show because I was on tour with On Your Feet as it hit. Yeah. But we did our last show not knowing it was our last show.
Yeah, that's why.
So I'm kind of like trying to work out which one's the better scenario, because although you got to say goodbye, I was kind of got to do the show in a happy mood rather than in a sad one going, oh my God, I'm not going to work for ages,
It's different, isn't it? Because obviously that was a workshop and it was sort of 1 week altogether. But I can't imagine what it must have been like doing the last show. I mean, you go out on a bang because you don't know it's your last show, but then after that you're probably like, oh, I wish I'd have known it was my last show kind of thing. But obviously here we are a year later.
Yeah.
And still not back, but fingers crossed, things are coming.
I mean, one of the best things, though, about being able to come in here is obviously being able to dust off the old vocals and have a few goes on some songs. Now, you've actually picked 2 songs to come and do with us today. Do you want to introduce the first one? We'll get the first one on straight away so everybody can have a lovely listen at how amazing Bronte is actually at singing.
Well,
so do you want to introduce your first song choice to everybody?
Absolutely. So this song is called The Life I Never Led. It's from Sister Act. I used to sing this song all the time at college. And when I've sort of been going through my music as we've been in lockdown, I saw it and I thought, you know what, I've not sung that in a long time. So here it is. I've never talked back, I've never slept late, I've never sat down when told to stand straight, I've never let go or gone with the flow, I don't really know why. I've never asked questions or taken a dare, I've never worn clothes that might make people stare, I've never rebelled or stood up and yelled, or even just held my head high. And all of the feelings unspoken, all of the needs unsaid, they're all that remain of the life I never led. I've never gone surfing or ran with a crowd or danced on a table or laughed way too loud. I've never quite dared to leave myself bared. I've just been too scared I might fall. I've never seen Paris so naked been kissed. I've never quite realized just how much I've missed. And what do I get for hedging each bet? Another regret, and that's all. And all of the wishes unasked for, all of the truths unsaid, they're all I have left of the life I never led. And now that you've given me one little taste of it, and now that I know what I know, well, how can I go on ignoring the waste of it? After all of the years that I've clung to my fears, won't you help me let go? Help me let go. I want to be brave. I want to be strong. I want to believe I'm where I belong. To stand up and say, I'm seizing the day. To not just obey, but to choose. And I may not surf, I may not see France, but I have to know I still have the chance. And maybe I'll make a painful mistake. It's mine though to take or refuse. And all of the doors left to open, all of the rooms ahead, they're beckoning bright, scary and new, but I'm standing tall and I'm walking through. What's gone may be gone, but I won't go on playing dead. It's time to start living the life I never led.
Hey! It's so funny because Bronte before, because she hadn't seen the videos before today, literally when I've shown them to her, she's like, oh, I hate watching myself. I hate watching myself so much.
Oh, gosh.
So it was really fun to watch you slightly squirming.
When it comes on, you're like sliding your chair a little bit.
But look, here you go, look, what a voice. So pure, so strong.
That's so nice.
It's such a beautiful voice. There you go, brilliant. And then there's something in my eye.
There's something in my eye.
So there you go. You're getting a lot of love in the comments there.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
Now,
that's lovely.
You've actually had a bit of a strange way into musical theatre. Much like Tanya, who came on the first week, you started very young and kind of went, once in college, just went, do you know what? I'm just going to go for an audition.
Yeah.
You kind of did the same at the tender age of 18, was it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what was it that you just decided, do you know what, I'm going to go along? What was it that you went for?
Okay, so I wish it was like, I knew I was going to be a star, and that's why I went on Over the Rainbow, but it is absolutely not. So I my neighbour had seen this cutout, well, had not seen a cutout, had seen this thing in the newspaper, an advert that was for Over the Rainbow. And the auditions were at Old Trafford football grounds. And on the day of the first auditions, I had a dance A-level day. So I was like, oh, I can't go. And my dance tutor was like, no, you have to go. You have to go and do this audition. I was like, oh, okay, I don't know. And I've obviously got her to thank because I was like, nah, it's not for me, you know. So I went along and it sort of just kept happening. And it was a weird one because I'd got my place at Mount View, but I knew I couldn't afford to go. There was sort of no way. I was trying to like do different fundraisers, like well, maybe I could do this to raise a bit of money and take a year out or something. But then I kept getting through the rounds Over the Rainbow, and you know, it was amazing. It was an incredible experience. I was so young, but it was a whirlwind for the sort of whole first half of that year, and it was an experience I'll never forget. You know, it was amazing.
So I mean, there's a couple of things there you've said that I want to kind of put out because a lot of people at home won't kind of know this. So firstly, drama school. How expensive is drama school?
Well, I mean,
some of them is like what would be like 14,000 a year.
Oh yeah,
or
well at the time it was 12,500 a year.
And you can't get the student loan funding for it always like you can for university, can you?
Well, at the time, I think the student loan was like £3,000.
And you have to raise the rest yourself.
Yeah, is it more now? I think it's more now, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, well they're doing £9,000 a year.
That's
it.
So. But it wasn't that. It was the three. And I was like, oh, okay, well I'll have to try and get that, and then obviously earn the rest. But there was just no way it was going to happen, and the living and everything. So I just thought, well, I'll definitely have a gap year. But then Over the Rainbow happened, and it was unbelievable. So I sort of had that over there that I knew I wanted to go to Mount View, I knew I wanted to train, but this just kept happening. Yeah.
It's almost too good of an opportunity to miss. For those of you who don't know what Over the Rainbow was, basically they did a competition to find Dorothy for the new up-and-coming West End production of Wizard of Oz, didn't they? So they decided to do this in like an X Factor kind of TV scenario.
There was a few. There was...
they've done a Jesus one, haven't they? And a Maria one.
One to find Nancy, one to find Maria, one to find Joseph. So this was like the fifth or fourth one, I think Dorothy was. And obviously we were all really young.
Because Dorothy has to be,
Dorothy has to be. So it's quite a different scenario.
Well, I think we've got a little photo here of you on the show. There you go. There you are in the front in the pink.
All the elbows.
Yeah.
This is my favourite because you can just see everyone's elbows. Everyone has them, but they're all there.
And you're still quite good friends with a lot of the girls that you met on that, aren't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well,
How many years later as well, which is nice.
Lots of years. But when I came out, I actually lived with Jess and Emily for a while. And I mean, they're all amazing. They're all like the best girls in the world.
Well, there's quite a few people who you'd consider kind of like names now in theatre, wasn't there? Like obviously Danielle Hope and like Lauren Samuels and people like that. It's like you recognise them now when they're on posters and stuff. For other things.
Absolutely. I mean, incredible amount of talent, sort of like right at the start of their careers. You know, like Stefan Hollyoaks. Like everyone's done such amazing things. You know, it was an incredible starter.
Yeah,
so when we were all so young.
So what's obviously kind of crazy is that normally with auditions, it's all done behind closed doors. Yeah. It's all confidential. You're meant to like not talk about what happened in the room. You know, cast narrators stuff don't like people tweeting like, oh yeah, I went in for this and this is how it went. Like it's a big no-no, so don't do that, guys. So they're definitely like, there's a level of confidentiality around auditions. But you in your first audition, auditioned in front of the nation, in front of how many people every single week? I mean, how was that? What were the nerves like getting ready for like a live performance where you're like, I've got to sing this song and nail it because the whole British public and Andrew Lloyd Webber is sitting right there?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like when I'm nervous for anything, sort of like a first opening night or anything, I think of those times because they were incredible, but it was bonkers because, you know, you'd sort of have your outfit on and you'd say, okay, so when the music rolls, you're going to come down those stairs and then on the fourth line, you're going to look to camera 2 and then when you get to the chorus, you're going to look at camera 5 and then you're going to pop back here and you're like, ah!
And you're sitting there going, okay, great. Who am I?
Yeah, sorry, what's my name?
What's my name again?
No, but it was amazing, you know. It was full on, but the weeks were great the way they sort of structured it with rehearsal and then a challenge and then back to the studio. But it was incredible. And I think with one of those shows, you know, you do obviously hear like horror stories of different shows where people, you know, find it difficult and they sort of tell you what to say. But for me, it wasn't like that at all. They looked after us so well and I met so many amazing people who have shaped my career since then. I mean, I'd do it again 1,000 times over kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, it was scary, very scary. Because you were in front of a lot of people like with that. But if you could forget that, it was just the most incredible sort of whirlwind.
So what was it like meeting Lord Andrew Lloyd Webber, or is it Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber?
I think he's a Lord.
He sits in the House of Lords, but I can't remember if he's a Sir as well. Probably is. Let's just call him that anyway. Sir Lord Andrew Lloyd Webber. Can you remember the first time you kind of met him and like what that feeling was like, kind of? Because it's like musical theatre royalty, really, isn't it?
Yeah, no, totally. Like you knew it was coming in the first few rounds, and actually, a few of the girls had their first round in front of him. I remember at Old Trafford.
That's terrifying.
I came out of the room where I'd done my first audition, and he came out of the room like opposite me, and I was like, oh my goodness.
Do I curtsy?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Jess had her first audition in front of him. I might have made that up, but I'm pretty sure she did. But I remember when we got to sort of sing in front of him, I think it was at the top 20 after Dorothy Farm. There was this sort of like
Dorothy Farm.
I know,
not
Dorothy
even
Farm.
camp.
Yeah,
like,
no, Dorothy Farm. Because we were like,
because she's from Kansas and she lives
it
on
felt
a
like
farm.
a farm.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we had all these challenges to do, but we all had to go
Dorothies.
in.
Rearing them. I don't know.
But we had to sort of go one by one in to sing in front of him. I remember it was just the most surreal experience. Like, and also I was so young,
yeah.
But I remember up to that point, like, I hadn't even seen that many shows in the West End because we could never afford it. So I just...
Well, when you live up north, it's like it's the hotel, it's the travel, it's everything. It's not just the theatre ticket, is it?
No, it's mad. Yeah. I think I'd seen Wicked and then some shows at the Palace in Manchester. But I remember, like, I was just so nervous. It was just, I mean, it was amazing. It was so good. It was like no other experience I'll probably ever have again.
Yeah, does it feel weird, like, having gone in at pretty much the pinnacle, because it's like the biggest audience that you will ever perform in front of is a national TV one, and you did that to start with. So did it not feel like, well, it's all downhill?
It didn't feel like that. No, it was the most like surreal experience, because obviously there is that, but then you come out, and I wish I could say now that I never get nervous, because that's the worst thing I've ever, the scariest it will ever get, not the worst.
Yes.
But it's not the case, you know, obviously. But yeah, it did sort of feel like that, and I think I came out and I did have a realistic idea of what I wanted to do. I knew I had Maltby that I did want to go and do, but I wasn't really sure. And I started auditioning for a few shows at the time. And I had somebody who was really lovely, who was a casting director, who was sort of like getting me in for some auditions. But I think in my brain as well, I thought, it's going to happen now. Then I'm going to get a part in a show. You know, it's going to happen. And obviously that.
But then you ended up actually going to drama school, but you found the funding, which was nice.
Yeah, I got the full funding, so I was so lucky, because I remember I was sort of auditioning, and I met with a few agents, and met with my lovely agent who I'm still with now, which is amazing. And they said, we really want you to go to drama school. And then I went back to film the final of the show, and I found out like literally a few days before that I'd got a full Dada, full scholarship to be able to go. And I remember I told Andrew, and he like gave me this massive hug, and he was like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you." And actually, he supported me throughout it. Like,
amazing!
It was great.
That's
so
nice
lucky.
to hear. It's always nice to hear when like people who dominate an industry create opportunities for new people coming in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and like don't treat it like a closed shop, and actually kind of bring people in and into the fold when when they have the ability to do so.
Yeah. No, I even when I came out, I went and met with the casting director for the show, David Grindrod, and he walked me to Equity and like was like, "You should sign up for Equity," and then, but not in like this is something you should be looking at doing.
Yeah, it was like walking there like your dad, like, "Come on, let's go and get your membership."
Like, so nice. And then he walked me around to Andrew Lloyd Webber's office and like took me in for like a cup of tea with him. Brilliant. To be like, "So what's the plan?"
And you're like, you're one of the biggest cartoons. Like most people dream of meeting you. Like I think I didn't meet David Grindrod until about 3 years ago.
Oh my god, I had no idea. You know,
having auditioned for 6 years,
like, all these opportunities. I was like, this is mental. I remember I went there and they were having a production meeting for the show, and the director Jeremy Sams was there, and I remember being like, "This is mad that I'm sat here." And they were like, "So what are you gonna, what's your plan?" And I was like, "I don't know.
What are you gonna do after school?"
Yeah, I've got no idea. And then funnily, I did Oklahoma with Jeremy, like the year before last. And I was like, "Do you remember that?" And he said, "Oh my gosh, yeah, that's like mad." You know, it's so wild to think back. I mean, I was given an incredible opportunity, like the best ever.
I mean, I got one last, because obviously, because it was on TV.
Yeah.
I have to ask this. Do you ever get recognised as being the girl from Over the Rainbow? Like, not within theatre circles, I mean, like, out and about.
Oh, out and about.
By Mr. or Mrs. Joe Bloggs.
I mean, it has been a decade.
Yes.
But do you know what? Weirdly, I actually did. I went to the cinema just before lockdown last year, like on local Odeon, and I walked in there and I said, "Oh, can I have 2 tickets to, I don't know, Avengers or whatever it was?" I said, "I'll have some popcorn," and she went, "You're on Over the Rainbow."
In that face?
Yeah, but literally, like, just said it like, "You're on Over the Rainbow." And I was like, yeah, I was. It just came out of nowhere. It was so funny. I was like, oh my, yeah, I was. I mean, she was lovely, but it just took me by surprise because, I mean, I never get recognised. I hope I look the same, still really young. But yeah, it was in shock.
I mean, just before we move on to our next song, the Dorothys actually, for the 10-year anniversary, did a lockdown video of them singing Over the Rainbow with Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yeah.
So that's actually on our channel. If you go onto our channel, you'll see a playlist called More from Bronte, and you'll see that video there, and you can have a little look at all the other contestants that you call friends, and there's some really good voices in there as well.
God,
so definitely check it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it's time for another song.
Oh, okay.
Now, this one's everyone who comes on always ends up doing a duet with me, and Bronte suggested this one, and then after a few days went, I didn't realise there were so many words to this song.
So many words and a scary riff in the middle. I didn't really think about.
It's one of those songs where it's so easy to sing along with the person on the soundtrack, and then as soon as you're singing on your own, you're like, oh, I don't actually know the words to this.
Oh yeah.
So this was a lot of fun to record.
Yeah.
So this is Bad Idea from the hit musical Waitress, written by Sarah Bareilles. So hope you enjoy this.
It's a bad idea, me and you.
I know, I totally agree.
It's a bad idea, me and you.
I've never known anything so true.
It's a terrible idea, me and you. You have a wife.
You have a husband.
You're my doctor.
You got a baby coming.
It's a bad idea, me and you. Let's just keep kissing till we come to. Hearts stop racing, let's face it. Making mistakes like this will make worse what was already pretty bad. Minds stop running, it's time we just let this thing go. It was a pretty good bad idea, wasn't it though? It's a bad idea, me and you. It's a bad idea, me and you. Hold me close while I think this through. Yeah, it's a very poor idea, me and you. Hearts stop racing, let's face it. Making mistakes like this will make worse what was already pretty bad. Minds stop running, it's time we just let this thing go. It was a pretty good bad idea, wasn't it though? I know it's right for me. It's the only thing I've ever done. What if I never see myself ever be anything more than what I've already become? I need a bad idea. 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 Just one. Heart keep racing. Let's make mistakes. Let us say so what and make worse what was already pretty bad. This secret is safe. No reason to throw it away when there's a lot to be had. Hold me tight as I tell myself that you might make sense and make good what has been just so bad. Let's see this through. It's a pretty good bad idea. Me and you. Me and
Hey!
Yay!
It's been a while since we've heard that noise.
Oh my goodness, I know.
Oh, dear. Well, I've been getting messages from the missus saying that apparently my mic was slightly too loud and it was peaking. So I've turned it down. Hopefully I'm not kind of like breaking anybody's eardrums at home. But yeah, loads of love there. There you go.
Yeah.
Paige has said, I just want to breathe for you guys. Such a hard song.
Yeah.
And it is actually, when you, it's not until you sing it that you realise how relentless that song is. It just doesn't stop, does it?
No, it doesn't.
It's just pedal down all the way.
Absolutely. There's some definite shifty eyes there, like, words. But no, it's gorgeous. It's such a nice song to sing. But also I was like, there are so many words in it.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, Shelley's being very punny here. Here you go. That song was a pretty good idea, I think.
Whoa, Shelley!
There you go, Shelley. You're so cool.
Thank you, Shelley. Very good.
Now, one show that you've done that I'm actually really, really jealous of, because it's one of my favourite ones, and apparently they're adding the Broadway recording of it to the UK Netflix library, because it's on the American one, but it's not over here.
Yes, I saw that the other day, actually.
It is Shrek the Musical. Now, normally when people turn movies into musicals, I'm like, oh my goodness,
oh God,
you're
why?
going to ruin it.
Yeah.
And I did have that slight reaction towards Shrek, because you just go in, oh, I really hope so, because it's such a good film. But they actually did a really good job on the songs, and you actually got to play Princess Fiona, didn't you? And I've got a little photo here of you looking. I mean, that face is so fierce.
Whoa!
That's just like the
absolute rat tap vibes.
That's like fairy tale Beyonce right there.
Fairy tale Beyonce
that's
in my dreams. Wow, I mean, that was my favourite moment because it was like a rip skirt reveal, and I'd never felt so cool and sexy in my life. And I was like, here it goes. And also, those are like beaded pants. So, I mean, fabulous. They were under the skirt though. So, at the beginning of the act, I was like, ooh,
you know. Back on again afterwards, the skirt to finish the
night, we had many funny times where it wouldn't go quite on, or a rat was sort of like ran out of speed on the mid-light of the stage, and I'd be like, oh, okay, there you are.
It could be worse. You could have tried to finish the scene and it just falls off as you're going.
No, true. I ended up without a skirt once for the whole scene, and the issue is that you go straight into another scene, which is like, good morning, Shrek, and I was like, my legs are naked. Literally like, oh God, okay. Whole scene in my spangly pants.
In her pajamas,
and they're like, good morning, Fiona. It's kind of awkward, you know. But I think a rat came on again, and I was like, thank you. Skirt.
I mean, most people at home. So basically what happens is that Fiona, it's the bit where she's just been rescued by Shrek. She's decided to go out foraging for breakfast.
Yes.
She runs into the Pied Piper, who can't get the rats to follow him.
You know this
well. She says, you need to change your tune and play something more happy. And then she grabs the flute, plays something, and they do a tap number because that's what people do in real life in musicals.
Oh yeah, I mean it was the big opening of Act 2. Yes. So the sort of sun comes up. It's such a good number, and you come out, and then they have all these rat feet underneath the curtain. And because I was in the ensemble for the first year, and it's the most fun thing ever. But you had to get your feet like right directional because you had the rats. Oh, they were massive. Yeah. Such a cool number, like the best number ever. Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I really love about the show, because obviously you're trying to recreate fairy tale creatures that were CGI.
Oh yeah.
But real life on stage, and obviously you don't want kids turning up and going, why does Shrek look like a bogey? Or why do you know what I mean? Like you want them to look like they do in the film. So you guys had quite a lot of like prosthetics and makeup and other things. And obviously Fiona has a few bits where she's human one minute and ogre the next. Like how were those quick changes?
I mean, for quick changes, it's the most incredible show ever. A sort of like it is so quick, you know. As an ensemble member, you're a fairy tale creature, you're a rat, you're a Duloc doll, you're in and out. The wig team and the makeup team are amazing. Oh, it's great. Literally, it's so fun. But you have like at one point, the start of the show, you're a happy villager, and then they have like 30 seconds to change 12 people, full costume into their characters, which is mad. So the local dressers, bless them, they had their hands full, like everybody did.
Well, particularly with touring casts as well, because when you're touring, you move theatres, so they don't bring dressers on tour. They use the ones from each theatre. So they'll have literally, before the show, they get thrown a piece of paper saying, stage left, help Fiona into her dress.
Yeah, now run to stage right for the rats.
On the first night, running around, just hoping that they're in the right place, changing the right person.
I mean,
hats off to all local dressers around the UK. We salute
amazing,
you.
Like so good. Oh my God, yeah, it is. Because you're like, Matt, the white tights. And they're like, sorry. You're like, because you've done it obviously a lot of times. You want to keep your cool because you feel so bad for them.
Yes.
But no, it was quite a show in terms of prosthetics. I mean, the people who played Shrek, like Dean did it. I think he did it 2,000 times with Town and on tour, and every time he got into it was 2.5 hours. And also on a 2-show day, he'd have to be in it for the whole time, so he'd be in the prosthetics for like 10 hours. But I had a quick change at the end where I had to sort of like, you know, by day one way, by night another, kind of transform. And it was brilliant because I had a body double. That's how they did it a lot of the time. You have sort of like a prosthetic that goes over your head, which is like fake
Are you
boobs.
giving away trade secrets now?
Yeah, maybe I am actually. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it. I'm not sure. But okay, so I had I know.
Bronte's been sued.
Bronte's been sued. I actually they let me keep some of the hands as well. So I remember finishing the show and like the next day I sat at home. I was still stained green and just sitting in my prosthetics like this is awful. I missed the show. But no, we had prosthetics and my I had a quick change. So I'd run off stage and have a body double, and I'd literally stand like this, and they'd pull like my costume off, everything, pull on the prosthetics, and then I'd just stand there and they'd be putting me on the wedding dress and greening me up and sticking my nose on, and I'd like have to just run back on stage and be revealed in the middle as like still still green Fiona, not been changed, and my nose would just be it depended if it was a good day or not. If I was too sweaty, it would just slip down my nose, and I'd be singing to the crowd. I'd be going, I waited all my life, like saying like how I'm in love with Shrek. I'm
Did
okay.
you ever fall off Drury?
No, because it'd be like this, and the fairy tale creatures would be going like from the sides. They'd be looking at me going, nose, and like Shrek would have to kiss me, and there's an occasion where he had to just push it back on with his kiss. It was really classy, really, really lovely. But there were so many funny things. I mean, the transformation. I was sat on a reverse bicycle seat.
So obviously, if you've seen the film, the big. After Shrek kisses Fiona, it's meant to be your true form is revealed.
Yeah.
And in the film, she floats up into the air, and there's this kind of magic fairy dust moment where she kind of spins slowly, and it all whirls around.
It looks amazing.
She comes down as an ogre again.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, but she's like, it's okay, I'm fine.
It's fine, you're beautiful.
Yeah,
to me, and
exactly. And she comes to terms with it. Yeah.
Now, how to recreate that kind of ogre in the microwave spin?
Ogre in the microwave. Yeah. No, it's accurate. Yeah.
Like a rotisserie chicken on a stage.
Quite simply.
So how did they get you in the air?
So it's quite amazing. I mean, wow, like our stage manager, Nikki, she was our stage manager on Beautiful as well. So lucky to have her on that show and working on that show. Yeah, Nicola, unbelievable. Nicola, I mean, we also had Jen, who was our stage manager, but Nicola was on it. Like we had the most amazing team on Shrek. And so there's this altar at the back. And what would happen is I had a wedding dress on, had a slit between the wedding dress to step onto this bicycle seat. And it would raise me into the air. So I'd open the dress, stand on, and it would raise me up, and then it'd spin me in the air, and it looked amazing. Like it looked incredible. I remember watching it on a show, being like,
but you're sitting there thinking you're just riding a bike.
But you were on a bicycle seat. And at times it would fail, obviously. You'd get stuck up there or whatever. And there was times when I'd come down and I knew it wasn't quite down because I'd be stood on my tiptoes, come back to position, and so the fairy tale creature would have to come in front of me so I could dislodge myself off the bicycle seat, classy. But it's all secrets of the trade, isn't it? But it looked amazing with the lights and everything. I remember being
that's what's hilarious. The amount of working in theatre, it so often ruins the magic of it because an effect will look incredible from the front, and then you find out, oh, is that all it is? It's so simple, and but it looks so effective.
It's weird, especially doing a show watch when you're like, that's usually me, and how does it look that good? Because wow, it is magical and it's incredible, and you see what the children are seeing and you think, God, it's great. I mean, that show is a dream of a show, and I hope it comes back. Fun. It's just the best. The costumes are incredible. The parts are great, and it's just so happy, so positive and lovely to do.
Once it loads up on Netflix, guys, honestly, I thoroughly recommend you go and watch Shrek the Musical. And the Broadway, Sutton Foster as Princess Fiona is incredible as well. Her comic timing is just absolutely bang on.
Literally my full idol. I must have watched her do it about 100 times.
And then her doing a full-on tap number into the big ending. It's
unbelievable.
Breathless, right? By that point, because you've danced solidly for about 4 minutes. And then,
so tired.
And then you're having to sing this big note at the end of the song.
Huge. She's incredible, but it's such a good show. So good.
I think it's time for another song.
Oh, already? Great.
Yes, let's put one on. So, do you want to introduce your next song and why you picked it and where it's from as well? Because I don't think everybody will know this.
Of course. So this is Stars on the Moon, and it's from Songs from a New World by Jason Robert Brown. And this song is one of those songs which I've always loved since college, but I've never sort of been brave enough to do it. And I don't know why, because it's just a beautiful song. There's nothing even too challenging vocally in it, but it's such a wonderful story. And I thought it was a really nice contrast to Life I Never Led, because it's a woman at a very different place in her life. Yeah. So I love it.
Here we go.
I met a man without a dollar to his name,
who had no traits of any value but his smile. I met a man who had no yearn or claim to fame, who was content to let life pass him for a while. And I was sure that all I'd ever wanted was a life like the movie stars led. But he kissed me right here and he said, I'll give you stars and the moon and a soul to guide you and a promise I'll never go. I'll give you hope to bring out all the life inside you and a strength that will help you grow. I'll give you truth and a future that's 20 times better than any Hollywood plot. And I thought, you know, I'd rather have a yacht. I met a man who lived his life out on the road, who left a wife and kids in Portland on a whim. I met a man whose fire and passion always showed, who asked if I could spare a week to ride with him. And I was sure that all I'd ever wanted was a life that was scripted and planned. And he said, but you don't understand. I'll give you stars and the moon and a soul to guide you and a promise I'll never go. I'll give you hope to bring out all the life inside you and the strength that will help you grow. I'll give you nights full of passion and days of adventure, no strings, just warm summer rain. And I thought, you know, I'd rather have champagne. I met a man who had a fortune in the bank, who had retired at each 30, set for life. I met a man and didn't know which stars to thank, and then he asked one day if I would be his wife. And I looked up, and all that I could think of was the life I had dreamt I would live. And I said to him, what will you give? I'll give you cars and a townhouse in Turtle Bay and a fur and a diamond ring. And we'll be married in Spain on my yacht today, and we'll honeymoon in Beijing. And you'll meet stars at the parties I throw at my villas in Nice and Paris in June. And I thought, okay. And I took a breath, and I got my yacht. And the years went by, and it never changed, and it never grew, and I never dreamed. And I woke one day, and I looked around, and I thought, my God, I'll never have the moon.
Yay! Smashed it.
Oh,
See,
thanks.
that song's actually quite fun because, like, I've not heard it really before. Because Songs for a New World, I knew, like, on the deck of a Spanish ship, the opening song,
Yeah.
and like, I'm King of the World. But because I was looking for all the boys' songs just to see if there's anything for me to sing,
Yes, of course.
so I hadn't really listened to it. And then I saw that show in November actually at the Palladium.
Oh, yeah.
And Rachel Tucker
Oh,
sung that one as well.
so
So
good.
it's kind of
I mean-
nice. And so I've just been kind of introduced to these songs by you and Rachel. So
all
it's really
very,
nice
very
to hear them.
good. Have you
But-
seen Bridges of Madison County?
No, I haven't.
Oh, dear Lord. You need
Okay,
to listen
all
to
right.
that bad boy. It is
That's the
amazing.
next one then. Thanks
like
for
that
that.
is, I think it's my favourite musical of all time by him. And in general, I saw it on Broadway and I was just blown away. It's unbelievable. Amazing boy songs as well.
Oh, okay, cool. Send it to me in a WhatsApp message, else I'll
shall.
forget. But we're getting loads of comments here. There you go. Like, what a beautiful song.
Aww.
Beautiful. And we've got a whole conversation thread here. We got, I could listen to her voice all day, and then
Thanks,
that's
Shelley.
because she sounds like a Disney princess, Shelley. And it's like, I agree with Shelley. She's such an easy voice to listen to.
Oh.
Clap, 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 clap.
Thank you. That's so nice.
So there you go. You're getting lots of love in the comments. Now, we actually have a guest who's coming to join, who's someone who both me and Bronte have worked with. Now, before I introduce him, I want to show you a video just so you can see what it's like to work with him before we introduce him. So just have a little look at this. This is some backstage nonsense that you guys don't often get to see. But if you ever wanted to know what it's like to work on a show, this pretty much sums
Here
it
it
up.
is, really professional.
You won't believe what I just heard.
Oh, I'm very naturally jumpy. Oh my god, what? I hate it. I literally hate it. My heart just. Oh my god!
Bronte? You won't believe what I just heard.
I hate you all!
It is, of course, the one and only Mr. Kane Oliver Parry. Here he is.
I know what you're thinking.
Go
You're
on.
thinking he's come dressed as Lord Farquaad.
Your curls are meant to go this way, though, if you're Lord Farquaad, aren't they? They're meant to go
You're
in.
meant to go reverse
Yeah,
underneath.
so you have a
Wait,
lovely
like
little bob.
How is it? When you said about Shrek before, I looked at myself and thought, oh no, I'm Lord Farquaad.
You're a little bit tall, I think.
Oh, gosh.
You definitely got to get the knee pads out.
My
How are
cheeks
you,
hurt.
mate? How you doing?
Well, this has been nice. I'll see you later. No, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah.
It's nice watching you two chat. Like we were
Oh,
texting again.
yeah. I mean, this is, if anything, this has just been a really good excuse just to see friends I've not seen in ages
I know.
and talk about an industry that I've not worked in ages.
No, it's very nice.
Now, Kane, obviously, you were in Beautiful with us on tour. That's
Yeah.
what that was from. I've got a photo here. Unfortunately, we weren't organised enough to grab one of all of us because there are ones of all
I
of
know,
us.
I was thinking that. We've got tons of sort of backstage.
Yeah.
I know, but here's one of Bronte because apparently as Carol she didn't get enough attention. So there she is as
There
Carol.
it is. There's the pic.
Now, obviously, you played Jerry Goffin, who's Carol's husband. Now, you guys knew each other before the show. So you don't have to answer this question, but is it awkward kissing a friend that you knew before in a show?
I mean,
Because I've never had to do it before, and it's kind of easier if it's a stranger because you go, oh, it's fine. I don't really have any pre-existing relationship with you.
like,
Yeah.
not at all, because we obviously, we got the audition for this show, and I sort of text Ken and said, oh, you in, I don't know how it works, like, oh, you're in for Beautiful, and he was like, yeah, I am. And we read together, didn't we, when you were doing...
Carousel.
That's it, Carousel. And we were like,
Yes.
oh, can you imagine if we got this together? You know, like, it's one of those things where we just couldn't because we were, like, in the same class, you know, like, we've been, like, best mates for God up to like 5 years before that or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it kept happening. Both got finals, and then we got it. And I can't remember if Kane found out first that he got it, and I was like, oh my God, Kane's got it. Like,
I found out first because I had to push for an answer basically because of another job. It was conflicting.
Oh, you're just too popular, just always in demand.
That's
had
it.
to,
That's it.
Yeah, I'm skint now because I paid a lot of people off. So I had to find out earlier, and it got like rushed through or whatever. Carol King had to say, and then I was on holiday. You know, like I was like, oh, this is great news. I'll go on holiday. We went to my in-laws, and then you called me then, didn't you? And I remember, and I got. You know, like if you're on holiday and then someone calls you and you think, I'm not going to answer because I'm joint. And I was like, Bronte's calling, what's this? And you were like, I remember exactly where I was vividly. And you said, how do you fancy going on tour with me? And I was like, no way.
Yeah.
Mental. Absolutely bonkers. I don't know. It's one of those. It came together. We were like, "This is."
I mean, it is
mad.
the dream, isn't it? Getting to work with your friends.
It is the dream.
It's such a nice
But
thing.
to answer your question, I think in the rehearsals, for me, it was like it's like kissing my sister. But then, as the show went on, from that day, it was absolutely normal, wasn't it?
Yeah, apart from when you ate something with spring onion in.
All right, you can continue.
Shame.
That was on purpose, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course it was. I'd be like, thank you. Oh, God.
No, you were actually in a show when lockdown hit as well, weren't you, Kane? You were in Matilda. What was it that you do in Matilda?
A little bit of everything in that show. So I play the doctor in the beginning, and then I play Magnus, or the escapologist, in the middle of the show. And then I play a school child that I've named Philip, because I'm the neat one.
Because no one gave you a name.
Yes, I'm the one that's always neat, Philip.
Nice.
And I just cover a couple of roles as well. And we actually, so on the Monday when the whole of West End found out that it's closed, that's our day off. Monday's our day off. And we just finished doing all these rehearsals for the next kids cast, and a couple of adults I think were joining. Carly was joining as Miss Honey, bless her. So that was her opening night on the Tuesday. We'd done all these rehearsals, and we were in 10 till when we finished every single day.
Yeah.
And then we were like, right, that's it. That's that cast change done. We open on Tuesday, and then it just got cancelled again.
Because that's what happened.
They said 2 weeks.
Yeah, but that's what happened to the guys in Tina as well. Oh. They literally did a month of rehearsals, and then they were due to open on that Monday night.
Oh.
And there was loads of people where it was going to be their West End debut.
Yes.
And people got bumped up and everything. Yeah.
Of course,
and then they ended up literally being told on the day that they were going to open, their opening night, that they weren't allowed to go on.
So hard.
Yeah.
So I just feel for these people.
And the problem is we have with the kids is a lot of the boys' voices break. So they might after 18 months or however long it's going to be.
That's hard.
Doesn't mean they're going to be able to sing it when they come back.
We've had a couple of Bruces. They go, whoa.
Yeah. The chocolate cake boy, right?
Whoa.
Yeah. He just turns into Barry White. Whoa.
Oh, God, bless him. That's so sad, though. If you get a West End job and then it closes as a kid, it's hard enough as a grown up. How do you tell a kid you can't do it? Oh.
How? Because we had this conversation with the School of Rock boys when they came on. How is it working with kids who are so unbelievably talented? Is it quite kind of because I asked them, do you ever feel kind of intimidated by these kids? Because they're quadruple threats.
And
they act, they sing, they dance, and they play instruments.
Oh yeah, well I think they're a bit better, those kids. But,
savage.
One of the Matilda girls, who was it? She was one of the older ones, I think. And she said to one of the girls, "Oh, is this your first West End job?" And it was. And she was like, "Oh," and she said, "Yeah, and you, little one, and you?" She was like, "No, I've done 4."
She's done more than me.
Oh my God! Yeah, me too.
You're 8.
She's done about 4, but. What's hard is, especially when I was saying about the rehearsals, you do full day rehearsals and then you do the shows, because you're just always in rehearsals, and you've got the scooters at the last part at the end. So you stood there with the scooters just waiting to go on, your eyes are closing, and these kids, because there's 3 sets of kids, they're a fresh set for that night. They come in, they're like, "Hiya!"
They're all the energy.
Oh my
God.
God.
Yeah, I haven't had a coffee yet.
But they are so talented, and they rehearse before they open. They rehearse for 3 months.
Wow,
they are drilled, but they're so good.
But I remember when I saw it, I just couldn't believe how tight the kids were dancing wise.
Yeah,
every pirouette, everything's just so on point. And I was literally looking at them going, you're like 10 and you're better than me.
You're
I'm just
amazing.
like,
Yeah.
and all that went through my head was, I am so glad I will never be up for the same part as you at the same time.
Yeah, never gonna happen.
Do you know what I mean? Because I may as well just quit now and become a goat herder or something. Because it's just not going to happen. It's just like...
Yeah, no, yeah, it's amazing.
But
That's
are
what-
you sure you weren't looking at my kid, Philip?
What?
Kane's child.
He's
Kane
12
being
and he's 6'2" and he's got a beard. I'm quitting now.
Oh god.
No, definitely not Philip.
Oh.
I mean, one of the great costumes that you get to wear is the escapologist. Are you enjoying the or were you enjoying the tights, Kane?
Oh,
Or
isn't
was
it
that
I
a bit
will
like-
be when I go back.
Yeah.
It's like a unitard,
Lovely.
isn't it? Is it like?
It is,
Oh
yeah.
Jesus.
The
yeah.
thing is, it makes it
It's in
even
the
worse when
summer.
you're working in a building with kids and you're walking around in a skin tight. So like it doesn't put off a good vibe, does it?
And you have to, and I have all the changes. I think I have the most changes in the show because
Right.
Really?
forever getting in and out.
You get a
And there's
cape
nowhere
though.
else. The cape.
You get a cape, so that's a plus side.
Yeah, it is until you stand on it and all that jazz and
Oh,
stuff. But I
Head the mold
because I
moment.
So much
No
cape.
capes.
because I cover Miss Trunchbull as well. That costume, I just did my dress rehearsal and all that. I feel for larger ladies, shall we say, who can't bend and do their laces, because I've got all these.
Does the boobs get in the way?
boobs and I've got
Wow, yeah.
padding and stuff. And I was like, right, I'll do my laces. I can't reach.
God.
So did you have to be that
Yeah.
diva and be like, can someone do up my shoes,
Yeah,
please?
No, you just do them before you put your boobs on.
Oh, okay. You got like a checklist. It's like shoes,
All shoes
boobs.
and no boobs.
But honestly, you think like that's one of the most easiest characters to get into because you're supposed to be like really aggressive and annoyed all the time. When you get in that costume, you are, because you've got your hair's pulled
You're
back
uncomfortable.
so tight.
Yeah.
You've got stuff on your teeth. You've got glue everywhere because of moles and hair and stuff.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, I'm really like, this is so uncomfortable and I look hideous. It's
So you're like,
easy to be
I don't want to
horrible.
be mean to everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
All
god.
right, well, when you go back, you have to let us know when you're on for Trunchbull because I am definitely
yeah.
paying for a front row seat to see that.
Absolutely.
I really,
100%.
really want to see
God,
Ugly Kane.
I saw it on my
or Booby Kane.
I saw it like years ago. I saw it on my 21st birthday, Matilda. So I mean, I was going to come and see you, obviously, like right after. I think that's
You
the
were,
last
weren't
time. Last time I saw you in person was like the
We should go and
11th of
heckle.
March.
We'll go and
Yeah,
heckle.
probably. Yeah, shout. Be
Yeah, we'll do
horrible.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has anything gone wrong in Matilda? Any kind of fun? Because it's very, again, lots of automation with that. There's a really cool bit where you spin a girl round and throw her and then she falls, didn't she? And all that
got
kind
good
of stuff.
memory.
Like, yeah, like
Yeah.
that was awesome when she gets swung around by her pigtails. Again,
Oh,
it's a
yes.
famous bit of the
Oh,
film.
yeah,
so it's like,
yeah.
again, having to recreate it for the
Yeah. Amanda Fripp.
yes.
Nothing's, touch wood, nothing's really gone. They're so slick. They're so on it there.
Yeah.
That it's a well-oiled machine. A couple of times we've had no tables come up, but they would come up.
Yeah.
But if they do, they'll be late. And then if there's a little lip, then you can trip on them. And it's so they stop the show and all that. But it's really quick. But we've had a couple of kids like fall off the tables and hit their face.
Oh
and stuff.
no! Oh.
Ow. Oh, bless him.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
I don't
apart
think, I've
from-
never
apart
fallen
from
on
that-
stage, thankfully. Have you fallen on stage?
Oh, yeah. Like, full on fallen. Many, many times. They had a bet on Shrek as to, like, when it would next happen.
Because it was gonna.
Oh, it was
like
happen-
predicting a baby being born.
Yeah.
It was like, who had Bronte on Tuesday in the matinee?
No,
Like,
literally. No, it would happen, like, all the time. The worst one was, though, when I was in Little Red Riding Hood, we used to do I'm a Believer, and I used to jump at the front, dum, 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 like the finale. And there was a kid playing Grumpy behind me on a miniature drum kit. And somebody put it on 4 counts too early. So, like, we were jumping back. Oh, no, sorry, it was supposed to go off, and it didn't. And I just sat in the drum kit, and it went, kum, kum, kum.
Oh.
And the poor Grumpy was stood with the drumsticks like this.
and no drums to hit.
And I was literally, like, impaled on, like a drum, like a cymbal. And the audience literally did an audible, woo! because I'd crushed it and I had to kamikaze roll off. Like, it's completely embarrassed. Awful.
Be like, I'm going
Many
home.
times.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm done.
Chicken out.
I'm done. But I fall over all the time. All the
I
time.
think it does. Things going wrong do seem to happen more on tours, just because you're moving venues. Things get broken in the truck and in transit, and like the upkeep. Like stage man do such a good job having to upkeep the set every time it moves. Because I wouldn't even know where to start putting all that stuff back and fixing things on the go as it's going. I mean, I think one of our favourite ones from Beautiful was definitely when the sofa got stuck coming on for your big reveal of the new house that you bought. And there's me and Amy sitting in the wing still because the sofa wouldn't come on. And then we had to climb over the sofa and walk in and be like, yeah, your place looks great. It's like there's no furniture, no anything. You look like a squatter's den or something.
Oh my God, bless them. I mean, obviously, like, it was automation, wasn't it? It was like the show was automated in town.
Yes.
And then it was hand winches on tour.
Yeah.
And they barely finished the set, and the crew from the local crews had to learn it on the go. They had about half an hour to teach them even. And there were so many pallets, wasn't there? Was there 5 pallets or something like that?
Well, you had the magic piano, and then you had the 2 pallets either side, and you had the piano at the back
Grand piano,
as well. And so it was a lot. But basically, for those of you at home who don't know what winches are, you have a big pulley system which someone cranks, and it will move basically a rectangle of stage on and off. So you can one it, ready, steady, go, and just kind of like we went like this, like off the camera. Like,
oh yeah,
it went the wrong way, which was so awkward. What's the name of that song? And he goes, when it's come up to the top of the stairs.
As can be, then the world below can bother me.
Yeah, so it's nice. Bother me. You go off with it. And it went the wrong way, and I went, bother me.
Into the scene.
And the reason why that's a problem, anyone at home, is because that side of stage, there is a drifter behind a slider who's being revealed. So you have a drifter being revealed, and Jerry sitting there on a dresser right next to him going, all right, mate.
I wrote that song. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Didn't you get beached at one point? Didn't they like ram the pallets on and it got like hit the other pallet?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, this is all the stuff that you guys get to hear. It's so much fun being on tour because it keeps you on your toes.
The rake was my favourite because at the beginning when I was on the grand piano in the middle, I had to go off upstage and then have a 1 minute quick change to become 16 again. And the piano was in the middle, and then they'd bring me upstage, but it was going like a gradual off, but like back on.
Oh yeah, you look
they
like
couldn't
you were
get it
on a boat.
I looked like I was on a boat because they couldn't get me upstage because it was just every time they'd winch it upstage, it would sneak down a bit, so it'd be like.
And they're so heavy as well because you think you're winching like 2 people, a piano, and like a sofa and stuff. Like you have to have serious guns,
and they're all made of steel and stuff.
Yeah,
so they're solid. We
did
so when I did the tour of We Will Rock You, and it was like with one time we had one day in Ostrava, this place called Ostrava, and it got thrown into the mix. So they planned everything, and like we had an 80 crew. They were amazing, rock and roll crew.
Wow.
And then this one day they were like, right guys, we're adding this show into Ostrava. And we were like, where's that? Anyway, we're in this basketball court arena. And the beginning, Radio Gaga goes, the treads that span the whole of the stage come down on a winch.
Yeah. You're almost like on a podium, aren't you? It's like a...
Yeah.
It's like a podium that you're standing on and they wheel you down kind of thing.
Well, it's treads and then there's podiums at the back.
Right.
So anyway, we started doing this, and they just put it in. We've all got our hands like across the chest like this, and we came out. We went. Someone hadn't connected the left side, so we just went into the wing. Just like all our faces. Oh, we were crying. That's the only thing on that. But we just went to the wing of the
It was almost like a feint for the audience going, you think we're going to sing? No, we're not. That's what I mean. How'd you go in there?
Oh, God. That's the thing, isn't it? Like, when things like that happen on stage, you actually don't panic that much because you know it's going to be fine. But also, as soon as you come back, the audience love a showstop, don't they? Like, nothing more because they're like, yeah, come on, keep going.
Yeah.
But obviously, everyone, poor stage management, are like freaking out because the set's going off. But we're all like, having a right laugh on stage.
It's always fun.
It is.
Well, mate, it's been so good seeing you. It's so good chatting to you again.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I mean, you've got some big things coming up very soon, haven't you?
Yeah.
So no, all the best of that. All the best. Hope Sash as well, and all love to the family as well.
Thank you, mate.
So just to kind of wrap up this stream, I hope you guys have really enjoyed your evening with us today. As I say, anyone who would like to donate, I'm going to put the little donate here QR code up, and you can scan that with your phone and it will take you to the GoFundMe. Any money that's in the GoFundMe currently has already been shared to everybody else who's already been on. So don't look at it and think, oh, there's £700 in there. It's starting again from zero from today. So please do get it.
Yes, please.
And yes, if you have liked this stream, then please do like it, because it tells the YouTube algorithm that it's something worth watching and something worth pushing to other people. If you like our content as well and would like to be kept up to date, then hit the subscribe button and the little bell, and it will notify you for any more video releases or live streams that are coming up in the near future. Guys, before we go, has anyone got any pluggables or anything they'd like to say? Anything? Follow me on...
I have Instagram.
There you go. Do you want to read out what your Instagram is?
Oh God, I don't even know what it is. I think it's my name with a few extra E's at the end. I'm so sorry. I'm rubbish.
Well, if you follow at Cuppa Cupboard, I'll message out. I'll message out.
Oh, I'm doing.
Details.
They're restreaming my online concert I did at my house, which is very terrible quality, especially compared to this.
No,
but sorry, no, it's from me filming on my iPhone. But my dog is featured in that, so it's a nice concert, and it's also a year ago, so it's interesting to see where we're at now.
Yeah.
Like when we were right at the start of the lockdown, so that's being restreamed, I think, later in the month.
Yeah. So. That's the Leave a Light On. It was a series that's been done by a producer. Quite a lot of really big names have been doing them.
Amazing. They did such a good job.
So definitely check them out as well. And the way that works is that the performers get a percentage of any of the tickets that are sold. So the money doesn't go to the producer, it does get shared. So please do support performers during this time and buy a ticket to Bronte's one and any other concerts on there that you fancy. I mean, you've seen the caliber of Bronte's voice tonight, so you know it's going to be people of a very high level, and you're going to get a really, really good night's entertainment out of it as well. So before we finish, I think probably worth just playing one of those songs. We've seen some requests for the duet again.
Oh, yeah.
So just to play us out, here is Bad Idea. But from Bronte,
bye.
Goodbye. From Kane, thanks a lot, mate. Goodbye. And we will see you next time on the 29th. So keep an eye out on our social media, and we'll be announcing who's coming on for that very shortly. But once more, here's Bad Idea from Waitress.
It's a bad idea, me and you.
I know, I totally agree.
It's a bad idea, me and you.
I've never known anything so true.
It's a terrible idea, me and you.
You have a wife.
You have a husband.
You're my doctor.
You got a baby coming.
It's a bad idea, me and you. Let's just keep kissing till we come to. Hearts stop racing, let's face it. Making mistakes like this will make worse what was already pretty bad. Minds stop running, it's time we just let this thing go. It was a pretty good bad idea, wasn't it though? It's a bad idea, me and you. It's a bad idea, me and you. Hold me close while I think this through. Yeah, it's a very poor idea, me and you. Hearts stop racing, let's face it. Making mistakes like this will make worse what was already pretty bad. Minds stop running, it's time we just let this thing go. It was a pretty good bad idea, wasn't it though? I know it's right for me. It's the only
see myself ever be anything more than what I've already become.
I need a bad idea. I need a bad idea.
I need a bad idea. I need a bad idea. Just one. Heart keep racing. Let's make mistakes. Let us say so what and make worse what was already pretty bad. This secret is safe. No reason to throw it away when there's a lot to be had. Hold me tight as I tell myself that you might make sense and make good what has been just so bad. Let's see this through.